love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
What's up, guys? Leighton here for UFC Gambling Addicts. If you're listening to this series, you're probably a big fan of MMA. I'm a big fan of MMA, and I love thinking about who's going to be matched up against who. So I'm going to be doing a episode of the matchmaking. I love doing that series. It's always fun to think about, you know, who's next for whoever. I have good news and bad news before I start. The good news is the first episode I've done of matchmaking, I match-made Walt Harris versus Overeem or Derek Lewis. Now, I got that. So Walt Harris versus Overeem is confirmed. It is going to be headlining a card. That's the good news. The bad news is, as of yet, Dana White or Sean Shelby has not contacted me, and I haven't got a matchmaking job at the UFC yet. So I'll just do it here for now on my YouTube channel. So the 5 names I've got are, let's see, we're going to do Volkan Oezdemir and Luque from the Uruguay card. We're going to matchmake for them. And I'm going to do Corey Sandhagen, Sadiq Yusuf, and Stipe Miocic from the card just gone. Okay, so let's jump in. Volkan Oezdemir. The 2 names I have for him are Alexander Rakic and Jan Blachowicz. Now, Oezdemir is ranked 7th. He just fought Latifi, who was, off the top of my head, roughly ranked 9th or 10th, maybe. Rakic is ranked 11th, and Jan Blachowicz is ranked 4th. I think they're both pretty fun fights. Rakic, you know, he's 4-0. He's on a tear. He's looking for a step up in competition, and Volkan Oezdemir might be that guy. And then you have Jan Blachowicz, man, who, you know, you look at his last fight against Luke Rockhold, and a bit of an underdog, a little bit of an underdog in that fight. And man, he spoiled the party for Luke Rockhold. So he's still in the mix. He's ranked 4th. He's still in the mix. And both of those guys don't have any fights booked. So looking at the light heavyweight division for Volkan Oezdemir, I think maybe Alexander Rakic or Jan Blachowicz. Okay, moving on to Luque. Luque is ranked 14th, man, and just wow, that fight with Mike Perry was just, it was insane. If you're a fan of the channel, you might know that I do insight videos, and I said Vicente Luque would be like a parlay finisher for me because I don't really see Mike Perry winning a decision. I felt Mike Perry would rather or more likely TKO Luque than win a decision. But I did acknowledge that he was, you know, he was grappling more. He was looking to get better. And I said credit if Perry proved me wrong and won a decision. And in all honesty, guys, I gave Perry 29-28. But at the same time, you know, I picked Luque, and you can't argue that there was any robbery no matter who that fight went to. That's how amazing that fight was. Like, literally, that fight was just crazy. So yeah, looking forward for Vicente Luque. The 2 guys I have here are Robbie Lawler and Stephen Thompson. So Robbie Lawler's ranked 10th, Thompson ranked 8th. Now the reason these 2 fights in particular are pretty decent because both of these fights are stylistically very different. Robbie Lawler's going to look to trade with you, stand in front of you, and throw bombs. And Luque didn't look for a takedown against Perry, so I can only assume that fight would be crazy and insane, just like the Perry fight. And Stephen Thompson, you know, he's still in the mix, man. He is in the mix. And that would be a great fight because stylistically, you know, Stephen Thompson, he's a kicker. Uses those knee kicks as a jab, looking to keep his distance, uses karate. So stylistically, man, that would be really fun. So Robbie Lawler and Stephen Thompson for Vicente Luque. Moving on into the 3rd one, my boy Corey Sandhagen. He's ranked 7th now, and you know he's looking great. You know, you look at that performance against the Sunsao, and man, he was dominant. He was very, very dominant. A little surprised he didn't get a finish as well. You know, he hurt a Sunsao to the body a couple of times. Even the jumping knee in the 3rd round right towards the end, you know, Sunsao was badly hurt a couple of times. And Corey Sandhagen, man, I said it, he is the new Dom Cruz, so unorthodox, so tall and long for the weight class. So looking at fights for him next, The two names I've come up with are Pedro Munoz and Uriah Faber. Now, some of you out there are probably thinking, why not Peter Yan or Aljamain Sterling? Probably because those two guys are going to fight, maybe, again for a #1 contender. So the two names are Pedro Munoz at rank 4th and Uriah Faber at rank 13th. Now, Pedro Munoz, you know, he's right up there in the thick of it. And getting a win over him would pretty much give you a #1 contender fight. But Uriah Faber, you know, that's a fight most people are probably thinking that makes no sense at all. But Uriah Faber, he came back and, you know, he got rid of Ricky Simone. So I can only imagine Uriah Faber's going to get a decent matchup next. And you're looking at Corey, you know, you look at Ricky Simone and everyone thought that guy was just going to, you know, eat Uriah for dinner, you know, basically. And maybe Corey Sandhagen's the guy to do that. So those are the two names I have for my boy Corey. Yeah, Pedro Munoz and Uriah Faber. Okay, moving on. Let's spark this blunt, then move on into Sadiq Yusuf. Okay, Sadiq Yusuf, ranked 23rd. And, you know, his performance recently, just against Gabriel Benitez, man, you know, he starched him. He caught him, you know, he went through adversity as well. He got dropped himself, recovered, and then, you know, that counter shot, man, it hurt Benitez so badly. Then the follow-up ground and pound was vicious. Sadiq Yusuf, man, he's looking very, very good. I don't really know who he could fight at 145. There's a lot of guys around him, and there's a few guys in front of him. But I'm only going to pick two, obviously. The two names I come up with are Michael Johnson and Andre Fili. Michael Johnson being ranked 20th and Andre Fili being ranked 17th. So yeah, you know, Michael Johnson, household name. He's fought a lot of good guys. He's fought, you know, very, very good competition now. Literally every fight is pretty much good competition. Maybe not so much Artem and Darren Elkins recently, but you know, he has dropped down to 145 and he is a household name. So Michael Johnson may be a decent step up in competition for Sadiq Yusuf. And my boy Touchy Feely, you know, he's on a little bit of a tear. 2 good wins in a row now. Common opponent in Shaman Moraes. Yusuf beat him, and Feely, you know, amazing finish against Moraes. So yeah, maybe Sadiq Yusuf versus Touchy Feely or Michael Johnson. Okay, moving on into the final one. Keep this series short. We have Stipe Miocic. Now, wow, what can I say about Stipe Miocic, man? Arguably 3 rounds down against one of the smartest heavyweights, one of the smartest light heavyweights, one of the best wrestlers we've ever seen in Daniel Cormier. You know, basically 3 rounds down, 15 minutes gone. And even in the 4th round, you know, for the first minute or 2 minutes, it just looked like it was just going to keep going Daniel's way. And then you see those body shots, you know, that ripping left hook to the body of Daniel Cormier, man, and he must have landed it a good 15 times. And you know, he outsmarted Daniel Cormier. There's no other way of saying it. Stipe Miocic did it, man. He got his title back. He beat one of the best ever. And you know, there's no other way of saying it, man. He came out in the 4th, 3 rounds down, and he outsmarted one of the best fighters we've ever seen. And credit to him, man. Credit to him. So the 2 names I have for Stipe, these 2 guys are the only logical matchups in my opinion. Maybe you guys think something different, and if you do, you know, leave the comments down below. Always leave your comments who you think all of these people should be matched up with. So the 2 guys I have with Stipe are obviously the rematch, Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones. Now, for obvious reasons, with the rematch, Francis has won every fight since then, apart from the Derek Lewis fight, which was right after his loss against Stipe, and, you know, a bit of a mental hump, but Francis overcome it, and, you know, he's looking great again. So that's the obvious one, and, you know, he's ranked number 2. He's the next guy in line at heavyweight. And the other one will be Jon Jones. Now, the obvious in this is, Jon Jones, he's 21-0. If you look at it like that, fair play. That's how I look at it. Obviously, if you count the illegal elbow and the overturned result against Daniel Cormier, then he's 19 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. But the guy is arguably the greatest mixed martial artist we have or have ever had. Arguably. Some people will agree, some people will disagree, but the guy just beats everyone. Now, he has a chance to step up to heavyweight. He could come in the same weight as what Stipe weighed in at. He's tall, long, quick. He's a good wrestler. So those two guys, Francis Ngannou and Jon Jones, for me, are most likely the next challengers for Stipe. As always, I appreciate doing these episodes, guys. I'm a massive MMA fan. I love thinking about matchups. And like I said, man, I nailed a matchup, so maybe Dana will give me a call someday. Appreciate you guys, as always. Leave your comments, subscribe, and I'll catch you for a breakdown soon. Peace.